Tonight I want to release a word on the dangers of spiritual warfare. In Ephesians 6:10 through 18, we know the very familiar passage of Paul the Apostle telling us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but that word wrestle in the Greek word is the word bale. And that Greek word, that root word bale, is where they get the real word palestra, and that palestra was an outside games, a hand-to-hand combat games, an Olympics, if you will, of combat sports of the medieval days and how they would fight to the death. It wasn't like boxing is today, 12 rounds championship fight. It wasn't like UFC is today, 5 rounds championship fight. No, it was a fight to death. And this wrestling that Paul is talking about is what they would do in this palestra, what they would do in these games, where they would put these gloves upon their hands and they would wrap them in sharp objects, and when you would punch, you would see the skull bust open, you would see the flesh rip open. And these people did not make it to live their latter years. No, they would die in the ring. They would die for the battle. They would die for their fight. It's important that we note that Paul is using this word bale to symbolize what it is that we wrestle against. When we wrestle against flesh and blood, when we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against the darkness, the principalities, the spirits of wickedness in high places, we must understand that they come for one thing: to come steal, kill, and destroy. But it's up to you and I to understand their strategy. It's up to you and I to get a strategy of our own. Tell them where to go and how to get there. Tell them that we're coming in agreement with other believers and that we're going to fight for our city. We're going to fight for our families. We're going to fight for our marriages. We're going to fight for our kids. We're going to fight for what is ours, and that's the land that God has given you and I, the territory. We're going to tell territorial spirits where to go and how to get there. We're going to take our stand against the epidemics of this world, the epidemics of sexual immorality, the epidemics of fentanyl, the epidemics that have been plaguing our generation. It's up to you and I to palais, to wrestle against these demons, to wrestle against these principalities and powers and wicked spirits in high places. God has given us the authority to trample over snakes and scorpions, but it's up to us to realize the real war that we're in. It's up to us to realize the damage that can be done upon people if they're not covered, if they don't have their armor on, if they don't have their sword sharpened. It's up to you and I to realize the power of spiritual warfare, and we have to fight for the weak. And us ourselves, we have to fight for our family. We have to fight for those that we've been praying, we believing for, our friends, our family, our co-workers, those who we know that God has called for a purpose and for a plan. So me and you must realize that there's a real battle, that there's a real devil that wants to kill, steal, and destroy people, wants to kill, steal, and destroy destinies. But we must understand the reality of it. We must understand how real this is, how dangerous this is, how dangerous it is to get inside of spiritual warfare. It's not for the weak, it's not for the faint, but it's for those who say, I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to battle, I'm ready to take my place in this army. God bless you. I hope you're blessed. Like and subscribe and comment and tell me what you think.